I don't want to settle breadcrumbs, but how do you allow unfolding without doing so it's not official in 3D, but assuming together in 4D? You don't fucking accept a version of something that isn't what you want. We're not forcing people. So if a client's coming to me, wants me to give free services, I'm saying no to that version. I'm only saying yes to versions that respect me and understand are on the same page as me. Same thing with SP. I'm not dealing with an SP version that is not the ideal version. Does he have to be perfect? No, but I need to see a version of him that's coming in more regularly, consistently, and steadily of the version I desire than one that I'm not. So if you're someone who's finding yourself dealing with an SP or any version of anyone in your 3D that is not moving and conforming and you see it on a consistent basis, why are you even dealing with the version that's not doing that? I'm going to tell you why, because you're still the old self-concept of you, because you wouldn't even deal with that. Listen, you simplify things so much and makes it so easy to understand where we need the most work on it to guarantee results when the work is put in. Yes, because this is how I think. You're a human being. So if I'm working with you, don't you think it makes more sense? This is how it makes sense to me. I want to explain to you what the fuck we're doing and why we're doing it. Because you need to understand why you're doing this so you keep fucking doing it. Because this would be the problem, right? It's like people explain things to us in a very ambiguous way, or they don't explain it clearly because they don't know themselves, or they're just leaving shit out on purpose. And then as you're going through the process, all these things are going to come up. This is why you don't get the SP, right? This is what happens when you're triggered. I was one of the first people that explained what resistance actually was. Nobody was teaching what resistance was. Everybody was teaching resistance is, it's just you're resistant to it, right? And it doesn't feel good. I'm like, no, here's what's happening. You're resistant because your old story doesn't match your new story. And you're telling your brain this is the new story. And you feel the resistance because you don't know it as your truth yet. It goes against the truth you know. So it creates this conflict in you. So I was the first one to explain that because I'm like, well, duh, this is what it is. And this is why you don't stop when you feel resistance, because people would be like, well, if you're feeling resistance, you need to think something different. It's letting you know that I just don't believe the new story yet. A lot of people, I don't think anyone was really explaining what delusional meant either. I mean, because I've lived this and this is how my brain works and I really understand things, I think, a little bit differently. And so I have to teach you what the fuck is actually happening and what to do when it happens so you know what to do and you're empowered and then you understand what the game is about. This isn't about, oh, you visualize once and you get everything you want. No, the fuck you don't. If that were the case, we all would do it. Now you can visualize constantly and you got to change your self-identity along with that. You will manifest in what you want, but I want you to keep what you want too. And people weren't teaching, and I don't know if they still really are, but nobody was teaching about what happens when you actually get what you want, because you're still going to get triggered, especially if you're someone who's never had it. Do you know how many people I've worked with, including myself, that when I actually got what they wanted, they were like, they didn't trust it. They didn't know what to do with it. Why? Because you're not used to getting what you want. It doesn't matter how much you want something. It's a fucking new experience for you. So it's going to trigger you. There's so many things. And a lot of, people don't really dive in deep. I don't know. They don't get it or they haven't done it themselves. So how would they know? You know what I mean? Could you provide more info on the course, please, Kim? Will it help us step into the new self-concept of being wealthy? Yes. So I have my link posted. I don't know. Let me see. What platform are you on? You're on YouTube. It should be in the description box. So if you go, I don't know if it says rich as fuck, but if you see any of the links in my description box under this video that says, it may not do it right now because it's live. It should. But it'll say my link tree. That is what you click on and you'll see the button for the rich as fuck and you'll go there and it'll tell you all the modules. So there are 5 pre-recorded modules that I already did coaching on. And then there's 2 live ones that I have yet to do. So whoever buys this course, I've only launched this one other time. When I launched it, there was only 3 live courses. Those people paid for it, showed up for the first 3 lives. Then I emailed them like, hey, here's the next 2 lives I'm jumping on. So now we had 5. And now I have 2 more that are scheduled. One is April, I think it's the 21st. Don't quote me on that. It's on the sales page for the Rich as Fuck link. And then the other one is the end of May. And so you'll see all the topics, you'll see everything, but anything I teach will always be rooted in self-concept of that area of your life, because it is really important, because we're moving from identifying from someone who is broke to someone who is wealthy. And that is a different way of thinking and a different way of being and a different way of reframing and looking at things. So you really have to move your story in there. And even Neville's very clear about self-concept, that the easiest way to get anybody to conform in your reality is by changing how you see yourself in relation to them. So the same thing is with money, because money is given to us by other humans. It doesn't fall out of the fucking sky, right? I don't have a fucking, even though you pull money out of an ATM, right? How did I get the money in my bank account, right? It's all comes from other human beings. Everyone is you push out. So your job is to change your story of how you see yourself in money and expand your horizons and possibilities of what is possible for you, and then change your story about money. So all these courses, again, each module, it tells you exactly what we talk about. And then there's always more we talk about than what I list. But we talk about that. We talk about the story of money. We talk about the limiting beliefs. We talk about the triggers. We talk about how to reprogram it. We talk about the guilt when you feel guilty, because these are all the things that I went through. So I'm hitting it all. And I'm going live. So anyone who's already purchased it, whether you purchased it today or you purchased it the first time I launched it, you get an email that says, hey, I'm going live, and we send you the link and you get to show up live for free. And this is how I'm doing all my new courses, is that I want you to be able to grow with me continuously. So when you buy a course from me, like even if you buy the Rich as Fuck today, because then I close the cart on April 16th in 3 more days, you're not going to be able to buy it anymore until I release it again, which might be another 6 months or a year, depending when I want to do it. And what happens is whoever buys it today or has previously bought it the one other time I launched it, I don't care if it's a year from now, if it's 6 months from now, if it's 2 months from now, when I'm like, oh, I'm adding a module, I need to go live, this is the topic, Hannah's going to email you guys. It's going to come from me. She's going to create the email. We're emailing everyone that has bought a course, because you give us your email when you buy something from me. We're emailing you and you get to show up live with me for free without paying extra money, because I want these courses to keep growing and evolving as I do. I don't want it to just be something I made 2 years ago and then there's no updates to it. It's not fresher content. So that's why I changed the way I do my courses. So let me know if that answered your question. And definitely you can click the link or go to my website. If you go to www.kimvelez.com, you click on the courses tab, look under Rich as Fuck. It has all the details of everything.